The speed challenge is a failure, guys.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Hope you're all having a great day. I just saw that at the Prince of Speed, which is a speed event down in the south of France, Nico Goyard went on the foil there, and he actually had a top speed of almost 40 knots, and on the 500 meter distance, which was the measured distance there, he had over 37 knots, and it was a new world record actually. And maybe you remember a couple of months ago I did a video of why wind foiling will not beat the windsurfing world speed record. But now I'm thinking, how fast can I actually go on foil? So I decided to start a new series here on YouTube. So welcome to the Speedfoil Challenge episode 1. So up until now, my best speed on the foil is actually around 31 knots. And on this F4 foil, which I got now, it is 29.2 knots, simply for the fact that I've only got a big wing until today for this foil. And yeah, it's an 850 front wing, so it's quite a large wing, so 29.2 is not so bad on it. But if you really want to do speed, you got to get a smaller wing. So in this series, I really want to talk about all the technique that is involved, the gear you will need to achieve high speeds on wind foil, and everything in between. So I hope you'll enjoy this series. But yeah, as I just said, you need smaller wings to really go fast on foil. So that's exactly what I did. I went to my fin sponsor actually, because he can also do everything with carbon basically. If you need anything with carbon, he will help you out. So I ordered a custom speed wing, which is 66 centimeters wide and I think has around 500 square centimeters of area. So it's quite a small wing, and that's what I want to try to go as fast as possible on. So for this first episode, I'm going to try out this wing and see how much speed I can get on that, hopefully more than the 29.2 knots that I currently have on this foil. And to achieve higher speeds in wind foil, I think I will need to go foiling in a lot higher winds than I usually did. Because usually for me, foiling is like the thing I do in low wind, like in 10 to 15 knots. But I think to really get the faster speeds, I need to go out in stronger winds on the foil. So for this challenge, that's what I'm going to do. Alright, let's talk about gear for a little bit. So this one is the standard 850 front wing by F4. And this one, I don't know exactly what the surface area of that is, but it's 66 centimeters wide. And that's my custom wing, which I ordered just to get some good speeds on the foil. And if you compare it, it has a lot less surface area. So I think it should be more like in the 500 to 600 square centimeter range, which will be pretty good for foiling, for speed foiling. And this is the back wing, which is 210 square centimeters, which I'm going to use. And yeah, this smaller front wing should have a lot less drag on a deep downwind course. So I'm really hoping that I can get like easily 30 knots out of it. And for the fuselages, or fuses, whatever you want to call it, I've got 3 different fuses. I've got, the first one is a 115 plus, the second one is a 115 standard, and the last one is a 97 centimeter fuselage. And if you compare the 115, which is this one, to the 115 plus, the position of the front wing is a lot further in the front on the 115 plus, which is good for racing. But I think for speed, the 110, the standard 115 will actually be quite a lot better, because you will generate a lot of lift when you go fast downwind. So the 115 plus with a position further in the front is actually good for racing, and you will get very good up and downwind performance out of it. But for speed, I think I want the front wing to be a little bit further towards the back, so that I don't have excessive amounts of lift going downwind. And that's why I'm actually using the 97 fuselage, which has the same position of the front wing compared to the 115, like you can see here. Like the front wing position is exactly the same, but to the back, the 97 is of course a lot smaller than the 115. So that's the gear I'm going to use for this first part of this challenge, which is just going to happen at my local lake. And maybe further down the line we will go to a actually faster spot where there's flat water and consistent wind. But for now, let's try it out on the lake and see if we can get 30 knots, because that's the first goal, getting 30 knots.
ready, let's go. Got the 8.6. The foil, the wind is quite good. So, hell yeah. Guys, it's the second day actually. It's basically a little bit more wind than yesterday, but a lot colder, and as you can see, it's quite cloudy today. But I wanted to do a second day on this video, on this first episode, because I feel like I can go a lot faster. Yesterday the wind just wasn't there, and I at least want to break like 29, hopefully 30 knots. And today with a little bit stronger wind, I think that should be possible. And what I'm going to do is, yesterday I took the 8.6 Severn Reflex 8, I think it was, which is a pretty nice sail for slalom sailing, but I think for foiling it was not ideal. It was too big, and it has a very deep profile, and the profile is very far to the back in this sail, and I think that's not so good for foiling. For foiling you want the profile to be a little bit further towards the front, and that's why I'm taking my 7.0 duotone. I still got like 2 or 3 of the warps lying around, and they have the pressure point very far to the front. So I think these should be better. Also they are higher aspect, and I think that should be better to do like high speeds and foiling. Of course with the 7.0, which is right there, of course with the 7.0, like I will not be planing as much, but hopefully the wind should be stronger. And also I got a little bit of a cold, because yesterday I took the summer wetsuit, so today I'm taking this one, the winter one again, the thick one. Yeah, but I don't feel 100%, but I think we should be able to do some foil, and once I'm out on the water I should feel fine again, once the adrenaline is kicking in. So I'm going to rig up 7.0, and same setup on the foil as yesterday, the 97 fuse, the like 66 centimeter wide front wing, and 210 back wing, and let's go. hope you can still kind of see me because it's super dark now. I went until 6 o'clock in the evening and I couldn't, the speed challenge is a failure, guys, for now, because I only did like 28.5 knots a couple of times actually. But the wind turned up so much and like it wasn't consistent with south wind, like I mentioned before. You have like gusts that are really like 20 meters long and then are like 30 knots strong, and like 1.5 seconds later from 30 knots you have like 0 knots. And then when that happens, like when you have no wind, the foil starts really lifting because you just put so much pressure on the back of the board in the strong wind, and then when the wind is gone you still have the pressure on the back and you just like lift out. And towards the end I was so exhausted because even 7.0 was overpowered, but I couldn't get any speed out of it. So like the takeaway for this first episode is try it in consistent wind. That's what I'm going to do in the next try. I don't think I need 30 knots like right now, but just like more consistent wind, and then it should be a success because I think the wings are definitely faster. And yeah, that's a wrap up for episode 1. Tune in for episode 2 and hopefully next time we will break 30 knots. Alright, see you next time, guys. Okay, I will keep this short since the video is already quite long. I just went out again for the 3rd day and I didn't really expect much wind today or much speed today, so I didn't film, unfortunately, because today was actually the best day of the 3 days. Like it was a little bit more consistent, like we had 12 to maybe 25 knots and not like the last day's 5 to 30 knots, which is too gusty. So today with a little bit more stable wind, I took the small wing again. And actually today I broke my own speed record on the 5 times 10 second category. And I had a couple times over 30 knots max speed. And yeah, towards the end or sometime in the session, I did a huge crash because I was going upwind. And I wanted to pass a windsurfer on Finn, who was going a little bit more downwind. And yeah, so I was going from upwind to downwind. And while accelerating, the foil came out of the water. And yeah, I made a huge crash. My mast foot broke and my harness lines broke. Actually, the line in the back of the boom also broke, but nothing expensive. So the mast is still okay, the sail is still okay. And yeah, the boom is also still okay, which would have been quite expensive. So it's actually not so stupid to use like some older harness lines. So those will break first. Anyway, so I had to connect the sail back to the board somehow to get back, because I was like 2 kilometers away from where I started, to get another mast foot. And so I just connected it with the end of the rope of the extension to the board and went back, damaged the board a little bit, but on this super old board it doesn't matter really. And yeah, after that, unfortunately, the wind was gone, or I think I could have gone a little bit faster still because the wind was even better during the time where I got back to get another mast foot. But yeah, for now I'm at 30.6 knots top speed, so actually pretty good, and I made a new record. And unfortunately I don't have it on video, but I just wanted to let you know. And I will see you in the next episode, because I think next time we will go to a spot where we can go a little bit faster on this series to get like probably closer to like 33 knots. And yeah, I'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what else you want to know about foiling or foil speed or basically anything. And I'll see you in the next one.